What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Final Pick Podcast. I'm your host, Zachary. I'm here with my co-hosts.
What's up, guys? It's Van.
And what's going on, guys? It's Danny here.
Yeah, a little bit that's not to start off with, but we are back and 3 weeks into the NFL season. And we've had a lot of stuff I think that we already did not expect. We're going to go ahead and go over the week 3 matchups in the NFL this season. And later on, we'll give you our predictions for week 4. But off the bat, I want to make sure just go ahead and say if you guys are here on YouTube, make sure you guys go ahead and leave a like already and subscribe. If you guys listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star rating and follow the podcast. And you know how we do. We don't want to waste too much time with an intro. Let's get into it. We had Thursday night football last week. Did we ever talk about this last podcast? I don't think we did.
Last podcast was Wednesday.
Yeah, so we had the Cleveland Browns play the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we had the Browns get the W in that game. Nick Chubb was Nick Chubb, like always. That man dominated. We had Amari Cooper have a really good game this week. And Pittsburgh Steelers were just not excited to watch at all. That game feels like so long ago. Now thinking
It kind of feels like we did talk about it. Because I don't know why, but I don't think we did. But let's be honest. Nick Chubb, top 3 back in league. No doubt about it. As far as his red zone touches, that fucking sucks. Yep. Already with an F-bomb. But the Browns went in there and they played better than the Steelers. Steelers' offense is very bad. Let's be honest. They don't have much of a future, I don't think, this year. I really don't.
No, their offense is bad, and Nick Chubb's just dominating like usual. And it frustrates me when you're at the one with Nick Chubb, you're throwing in Hunt for 3 plays and he doesn't get it. And you just it's funny because Chubb had 1 play and scored. So they got to fix that a little bit, but it's a good one by the Browns.
Yeah, the Brissett's actually not looked too bad so far this year. I'm not saying he's great, nothing like that, but he's done his job, which he's kind of done in previous stops. He did his job in New England. He did his job in Indy for the most part. So he's kind of doing his job. The Browns can win with him at QB, but they got to get Chubb the ball. That guy is an absolute stud. Top 2 back in the league, not top 3, top 2 back in the league. And I just need to see that man get the ball more.
And one more thing, Amari Cooper is back. I don't care what you say. He's still Amari Cooper. People were sleeping on him because he got traded for a 5th-round pick. Man is back. Put some respect on his name.
He got traded for less than Jalen Reagor did.
Yep.
I did see that. A 4th and a 7th to a 5th. That is crazy.
That is absolutely wild. And
that's Jerry Jones for you, dude. We'll keep Ezekiel Elliott's contract, but Cooper, you got to go.
And the Pittsburgh offense is not very good. Najee isn't the best so far. He doesn't have the best vision. The O-line sucks. They're not getting the run game going. They got good enough receivers. Deontay Johnson is stud. Chase Claypool's good. Pickens had a ridiculous catch of the year so far this past week. But
me and Danny were watching that. We were in disbelief when he caught that thing.
I couldn't believe it.
We thought we were in a simulation for a second. That man just went back shoulder, one-handed it. That shit was crazy.
But I do have to present the question. When do we see Mitch Trubisky get benched for Kenny Pickett? Because Steelers don't have an easy schedule coming up. I believe it's some order coming up. They got, I think, the Bills, Dolphins, Eagles, and is it Ravens as their next 4 opponents? Something like that. I'll look it up to confirm. But they got a tough schedule coming up. I don't know if you want to throw the rookie in with those next 4 games.
So before the season, I would have said no games because Tomlin said that word for word. He doesn't want Kenny to Pickett to play at all, or as the guy announcing the game, Ryan Pickett. But I think he probably does get in there within this 4-game stretch. I think by week 8 he'll be in there because I feel like they're just going to be very bad.
He definitely should be.
Definitely should be.
Yeah. So they actually play the Jets this week, and then the 4 games. I was wrong. The 4 games they played the Jets this week, but then they play the Bills, Buccaneers, Dolphins, Eagles, and then even Saints and Bengals. Colts after that.
They're gonna shit the bed bad.
That's probably the worst 4-game stretch of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just a question: do you want to put Kenny Pickett in against those teams because all those teams have good defenses? Like you can argue. I mean, like the Bills, Bucks, Dolphins, Eagles. Those are all pretty good defenses in the league. It's going to be tough to put a rookie QB in a situation.
No, I agree with you. But if they're going to be down, if they're going to be 1-7, or what are they right now? They're 1-2 or 2-1.
They are 1-2.
1-2. Yeah, if they go down to like 1-7, that you might need to at that point.
Yeah, season's basically over at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next game we had the Chicago Bears take a W against Houston in a fairly competitive game. Neither team was necessarily great. I thought Houston had some chances they could have taken advantage of that they didn't in this game. What are you guys' thoughts on the game overall, though?
Exactly what we thought it was going to be. Shit fest, in my opinion. I know it was a close game, but it's just two bad teams playing against each other. And the Houston Texans seem like they're a competitor in every game until the fourth quarter comes. Did you see that stat line on the Houston Texans fourth quarter?
I don't know.
Yeah. They get outscored.
I think it's a crazy outscore ratio, and then they had the lead in every fourth quarter so far, and then just give it away, and they don't score at all. Like, it's terrible. The ratio they have in that fourth quarter is dog shit.
Yeah, no, I think that matchup was just, a shit fest as overall. I feel like the Bears are trying to establish Fields, but they just can't get it going. They have Darnell Mooney's been shit. David Montgomery got hurt. One guy we need to look out for is Herbert. Khalil Herbert, he went stupid when David went down. That's the only take you can take away from the Bears. Is like, hey, at least we have some consistency somewhere. So,
dude, Fields look bad.
Yeah, it's
100
bad.
passing yards and 2 interceptions, no touchdowns against the Texans.
Yeah.
Now, they haven't given them much help, but I think there is a reason to that why they haven't given him much help. I just don't think they personally believe in him. But 18 completions in 3 games, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that serious?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he has 18 completions through 3 games. Because they had the game against San Francisco in the hurricane or whatever that was. Not hurricane, but you get the point. This past game was very good. Now, I did fact check that, but 18 completions sounds crazy. 6 a game,
That is
not
crazy.
That can't be true.
They're winning. They're 2-1, so hey.
Oh, the Bears fan. 2-1, baby. No, man, no. Wait, and you know what sucks is they don't even play. They play somebody they could beat this week too. I think.
The Jets. Oh, not the Jets. Who did they play?
Giants. We were just talking about
Giants.
that right before.
Yeah.
Giants, dude, they play fucking nobody.
Yeah, but I mean, the Texans, once they get actual talent, it'll be interesting to see how they are once they can get some actual talent because they have some decent guys here and there. But I think the reason why they're blowing these fourth quarter leads because, the talent differential for the most part. I'm not saying the Bears are the best example of that. But with the Broncos and the Colts 2 weeks before when they had the fourth quarter leads, there's a pretty big talent differential between the teams they're playing against. And I think that shows in the fourth quarter. But Davis Mills, he's a good game manager. I don't know if he's going to be anything more than that. But they do have some things to be excited for overall with that team. And
no, for sure, dude. The Texans have a bright future. Like I said, like we said in the beginning of the year, they had an amazing draft. That's one thing you could say. I think they're a quarterback and a few obvious pieces away, elite pieces away from being they're already competing with good teams. Yeah, the only thing they need to do is get over that hump in the fourth quarter. They need those guys, those elite talents on that team, and they'll be good. And they have the assets for it. Look what they got for Deshaun Watson. Yeah, they have the assets for it.
And I just want to mention Stingley is showing that he's better than Sauce Gardner so far.
No, he hasn't.
Oh, no, he hasn't.
Yes.
No, he hasn't. You're not watching.
Has been balling.
Sauce Gardner has been amazing. But I do want to say it was wrong with the completions. He has 23 completions. Not much better, but 23 completions through 3 games so far. And
imagine Justin Fields is watching this like, dude, it's 23. It's 5 different.
Come on, man. Give me respect.
Dude, you're wrong.
Yeah, but still, 23 completions. I just want
today's NFL doesn't work.
Yeah, he has. I think the most was 8 completions in a single game.
Yeah,
I think it was 8, and 7. I just closed it, but 8 and 7. That is bad, even for the big game week 1, the huge weather conditions.
Yeah.
I can give a pass with that, but that he's got to step up. Even with the receivers he has, he's got to step up if he wants to have a job next year.
For sure. But I like we said this beginning of the year. I don't want to talk about this game too long, but we said it. They don't believe in him. They don't. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this is all because the Bears don't believe in him, but because he looks bad. But he doesn't have much help. There's nothing around him. And I guarantee you they're going to end up with a top 5 pick. It's inevitable, probably. And I know they're 2-1 now, but they might be 3-1, but it's inevitable, I think, that they're going to go quarterback, even if they reach for one, because Bryce Young and Stroud will be gone, top 2.
Yeah, Darnell Mooney has been underwhelming. They just don't use Cole Kmet for some reason. We had a lot of hype for him in the offseason. Equanimous St. Brown's looked like maybe their best receiver so far. Byron Pringle, I think, is on IR. So, it's been very underwhelming so far.
Yep.
Next up, we have the matchup of 2 0-2 teams. And the Titans ended up getting their first win in the season against Vegas. And I'll just go out and say, I kind of said last week, Vegas just does not look good. They don't look good. Josh McDaniels, I've not been impressed. Derek Carr hasn't been as good as I thought he would be with Devontae Adams now in the receiving core. The defense does not look good at all. I'm not impressed with the Raiders at all so far this year.
Yeah, I mean, they're 0-3. It's hard to be impressed.
Yeah.
The thing that sticks out, the two things that stick out to me on the Raiders are, what is Derek Carr doing? He looks bad, but he has all these weapons now, so it's kind of confusing. Mac Hollins is even playing good. They're still losing bad, and Derek Carr is throwing 2 interceptions a game on average or something like that. Like, not on average, but I know he had 3 the first game. He had 0 the second game. I think he had 1 or 2 this game, but he looks very bad. And the second thing is, one of their biggest cap casualties is not showing up at all. Chandler Jones.
Yeah.
You have not heard of Chandler Jones in the first 3 weeks. There's memes going around saying, if you see this person, call me. He hasn't been showing up. You're expecting that dominant Max Crosby, Chandler Jones pass rush, and we're not seeing that. We're seeing a pass rush that's not getting to the quarterback and giving Ryan Tannehill time to dump it off to Derrick Henry, which he's not good at, but six targets, 5 catches for him. Kind of got them the lead early. Hard to come back when their team's not good. I'm surprised with the Raiders. I really do think they're going to be decent.
No, yeah, I'm surprised with the Raiders too, and they're right now leading the division and being the worst. I thought it was going to be the Broncos, but right now Raiders are. And what's frustrating me is that week 1 you established that we just got Devontae Adams and we're gonna show people hey, we're gonna abuse this guy. And ever since then, that usage rate that he was in week 1, it's just not the same now. I understand you're trying to feed Waller and these other guys, but why is Mac Hollins all of a sudden being the guy that's leading the receivers? And there's a joke going around, Devontae Adams is the receiver 2 now and stuff, and it's sad. I think you need to establish every week going in, Devontae Adams needs to get at least his 9 or 10 catches, and I feel like they'll be closer and maybe even win more football games if they do that with Adams. So.
Well, he had 10 targets last game, but it's just I still don't believe they're the worst team in the division. I think the Broncos are bad.
No, Broncos are bad too.
Broncos are bad, dude. But we're not getting into them yet. What do you think about this game set?
Yeah, I mean, they had their chances. They didn't convert. I didn't think Tennessee was necessarily great either. Derrick Henry had his best game of the season, but still wasn't Derrick Henry type of game. I thought Robert Woods had a decent game. He made some big plays when they needed him to. And the Titans are really starting to get hit with the injury bug. I mean, here Landry's out. They just didn't they lose someone on D-line, or did Autry get nicked up a bit? I think
Jeffrey Simmons is fine.
Jeffrey Simmons is fine.
I did not watch that game.
But yeah, I mean, neither team has looked great so far. A little bit worse than expectations. But I mean, I need to see more from Vegas. They got the offense, and they aren't putting up a lot of points. They put 22 up this past week. They got to be one of the best offenses. Like you said with Chandler Jones, we need more from him. The defense was going to be built around the 2 great edge rushers in Chandler Jones and Max Crosby. Crosby's been fine, but they don't have a lot of talent in the back 7 or back 6, whatever you want to call it. They don't have a lot of talent there, so you need those 2 edge rushers to step up. They just haven't done that.
Completely agree. I don't know. So basically, their problem is their big names aren't showing up, and the Titans' problem is injuries and Ryan Tannehill's your quarterback.
Also, just talent overall. They have a lot of talent on defense, but the offense talent, it's not really there.
Dude, their DBs are just not there, dude. They have Kevin Byard, and then besides that, it's a bunch of waiver wires.
Yeah.
But
they let go. The stupidest thing I think they did was let go of Adoree Jackson. I said it right when it happened.
I don't think
Adoree Jackson wasn't playing great. He's not right.
He's better than what they have. He's better than what they have right now.
I might go Christian Fulton over him personally. I really don't like Adoree Jackson. But as far as the Titans, they did what they needed to do, get Derrick Henry the ball in any way they could. And you saw what happens. They finally start giving him targets. He's going to catch them. It's very easy for him because no one's expecting it. They might expect it now this week, but the Raiders didn't expect it. And he had six or 5 catches for a lot of yards and a touchdown. It worked. Now that that's done, I don't know if it's going to work anymore. But, yeah. Oh, and another thing on the Titans, Taylor Lewan's definitely not playing another snap for them.
Nope.
I think that's what I was saying. If he just got hurt this past weekend, I think it was the defense guy. He got injured. He's on IR.
He's out for the year. And he's not playing another snap in that uniform. There's no way they keep that cap around. There's no way.
Yeah. And next up, we have an upset. Everybody says, I was wearing my shirt, and people come like, they're going to lose this week, right? I know. I was walking up to flag football games. People were saying that. And then after the game, I had people saying that this is the one team that ruined their parlays. The Colts beat the Chiefs this week. And I can't lie and say the Chiefs didn't beat themselves multiple times throughout the game. But I mean, they did what they had to do. The Colts defense, even without Shaq Leonard, they held Patrick Mahomes to 17 points. Any way you want to look at it, that's still impressive. And Kansas City, they got to work on their special teams because Butker was out. Their special teams was awful in the punt return game, the kicking game. And those mistakes is you got to capitalize on them like the Colts did, and that's how they got the win.
Yeah, see, you would know more about this game. We didn't watch it, but I can imagine it messed up some parlays. But this just shows to prove that you just can't predict a perfect week. Like, you truly can't. Like, the Colts beating the Chiefs after the Colts just got blown out by the Jaguars, which I think they're a decent team, but we didn't know that going into week 3. It was only one win. But it's completely unpredictable. The Chiefs just didn't show up that game, and it's weird because of the games they had week 1 and 2, they looked amazing, or at least week 1. Week 2 they didn't look amazing, but they beat the Chargers, so that's notable. Yeah, they just it's completely unpredictable, man.
No, yeah, that was to me it was like I guess you would say a fluke game for the Chiefs, right? And I feel like when you're playing teams like the Colts, like not even talking shit, but like the Chiefs are going in there like, oh, this is gonna be easy breeze. You know, the Colts are on a downfall right now. They're having a ton of problems, and they go into your guys' home field and they shit the bed. And a guy like Harrison Butker is showing his value as well to the team. If you haven't noticed, you know, not being able to confidently go, okay, let's take this 3. It shows, and that's part of the special teams problem, I believe. You know, at some point we're thinking, hey, throw fucking Justin Reed in to kick a field goal because their original kicker's not confident enough. So I just think at the end of the day, it's just a fluke. When Harrison Butker comes back, that's going to bring a ton of value. People don't see that now because it's just a kicker, but when he does show up, you'll see. So
yeah, I'm not too worried about it because Butker, I think, is coming back this week, and also their special teams coach Dave Taub. He's been there for like 12 years. He's one of the better ones in the league. But I mean, Sky Moore. Like, there's 2 plays that he just seemed like he didn't know what to do on punt return. I also want to say, going back to the Colts, though, it also was probably Jonathan Taylor's worst game he's had in, like, 2 years. Like, he just didn't look like himself out there. So I think that also is notable that the Colts were able to win the game, even with Jonathan Taylor not playing well. I'm also impressed by some of the rookies. Jelani Woods had 2 catches, first 2 career catches, both for touchdowns. And that guy, at his speed, should not be moving like that. So it'll be interesting to see how he develops. I thought Alec Pierce, coming off of his concussion, he had some big plays in the game as well. When they're at the 1-yard line, they threw just a one shot to him. He came down with it for about 30 yards on the final drive, a comeback route that got him into range in the red zone. So he had some big time moments as well. And if those 2 can step up next to Pittman and Taylor, that would be huge for the offense. That hasn't been very impressive so far. And also the O-line needs to get themselves together because that is just awful to watch. Like the Colts right now have the highest paid O-line, but might be performing like the worst O-line in the NFL. And I don't think
you know more than us, man. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, let's go on ahead and talk about another. I don't think I'll call this an upset because they were 2 undefeated teams going against each other. I think a lot of people were surprised that Buffalo came to Miami and lost that game. And I gotta say, the Dolphins in the early parts of the season might have the best home field of all teams, home field advantages, because the way that stadium is designed.
Shut
up! You're talking about the fucking sun and the players.
Don't even start that, dude. The Bills fans on Twitter saying if they're allowed to burn our players, wait till they come down in the ice and then cover the snow on our side and put it on their side. Like,
is that not a home field advantage? Was that not the reason why it was set up like that?
Oh, that's 100% why it's set up like that. But yeah. I'm so sick of the excuse. Like, dude, you're an NFL player. Half the players that are on the Bills are from Florida. Yeah. I don't want to hear that shit. If you're cramping up, like the right back
lives in Florida.
Oh, I have so much to talk about this game, and I know we got to keep it kind of short. But dude, they were injured, 100%. I'm not saying we're completely better than the Bills right now. I cannot say that. I need a few more games, so I'm not out here to be completely biased Dolphins fan. I will be a little bit, but listen, Spencer Brown went out with heat cramp. Heat exhaustion. That's your fault. Completely your fault. I don't care if you're used to Buffalo weather. You're coming into Miami. What did you expect? Like, did you not train for this the whole week? And then all these people besides RG3, which I think RG3 is hyping us a little too much. Everybody besides RG3 saying they were missing 3 starting offensive linemen. No, they weren't. They were missing Mitch Morse, and Spencer Brown went out in the third quarter to heat exhaustion. They're not missing 3 O-linemen. They all they were missing is Stephon Diggs some plays because he was cramping up. That's your fault. Be prepared. You don't see Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle off the field in Miami. for cramping up. He cramped up in Baltimore, ironically. But, dude, I'm so sick of it. Point blank period. And I respect, I've seen a lot of Bills fans to say we took the L. We didn't play good. They took the L. I don't want to hear any of this. The only thing you could say is your DBs were hurt. That's fair. A lot of their DBs were out. That's what happened.
Interior D-line.
And the interior D-line.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
besides that, I'm so sick of hearing their offense, anything about their offense. Their whole offense was there. Gabe Davis was playing the whole game. Everybody was playing. I don't want to hear anything about the offense. Their 3-0 linemen weren't out. They had Mitch Morse out, and that was it. Who's very good. But they had their whole O-line. I don't want to hear the excuse. Take your L. Go back to Buffalo. They all flew out here to watch this game and watch their team lose.
Yep.
They've been successful the last 3 years, but not this year, baby. Not this year. This is our year for the AFC East. I don't want to hear any of the excuses. Take your L. Good luck in December.
As a Dolphins fan, like Van as well, I want to put my input real quick on this. I understand the Dolphins got left off the hook, and the reason why I say that is because how the hell do the Bills have like quadruple the amount of yards that we had and only scored 19 points? Josh Allen threw for 400 yards, and you put up 19 points. The Dolphins, we even tried to give them the game with the butt fucking punt. Like, that was ridiculous in itself. The fact that the Bills didn't win this game was ridiculous. I think they lost themselves this game more than we won it, in my opinion. A full, healthy Bills team, I still think is better than us right now until further notice. But I just know, honestly, as a real true Dolphins fan, from what I saw, it was pretty sloppy. The fact that we can only put up a certain amount of yards and we're getting dominated time possession, like, we should have never won that game. It should not have been 21-19. Time of possession was double on their side. They had insane
40 minutes to 19 minutes.
40-19. That's ridiculous. And the fact that you have Josh Allen on the other side and you put up 19 points, no wonder Ken Dorsey was throwing shit on the fucking camera. Because he's sitting there and he's like, how the hell do you think we're going to win a Super Bowl when we're playing against the Dolphins hurt and we're having potential to win the game and we cannot close? It's sick. So at the end of the day, I'm still a little disappointed in the Dolphins. We did come out with the win, but we need to step up our game a little bit more. Because when we see the Bills in the playoffs, if we make it, we're going to have to step up our game 100%.
Yeah,
Hold up. The 3 words I wanted to say about the defense, the Dolphins' defense, is bend, don't break. They were having these long – we punt them inside the 5 twice, I believe, and they were having these long whole quarter drives. That's why the time was so messed up. But Josh Allen threw the ball 63 times, and we held him to 19 points. If that doesn't scream bend, don't break, we were bent, but we didn't break. We let them in the red zone. They missed a 38-yard field goal. We dropped so many interceptions. When I left the game, I was at the game. When I left, I was with a bunch of people, and I said we did not deserve to win that. Like, the way we were playing, there was too many mistakes. The offense wasn't clicking like last week, which is, I mean, that's a rare week, but still, it should be clicking a little more than that, especially with how the DBs were on the Buffalo side. But the butt punt, like, that just can't happen in that scenario. You can't throw the ball on your 1 yard line. I don't care if you're. I knew McDaniel was going to take a risk there, but you can't. You just can't do it. Not only was it almost picked because Edmonds was there, you can't do it. You can't do it. You take your run, you blow that 40 seconds off, and that butt fumble or the butt punt. Just it cannot happen. We were sloppy. We got away with it, but we did not deserve it.
Yeah, and with the punter, I think needs a bit more blame because he took way too long to punt that. He needed to just do a quick pooch to get rid of that.
Yeah.
But I think this is a perfect game for the Dolphins because obviously you get the win, but you can say to yourselves, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Even when you kind of look at the Ravens game the week before, I think it is fair to say that the Dolphins, I'm not going to say shouldn't have won because they made the plays when it mattered, right? Yeah. And I do personally think the Bills are a better team. I mean, they obviously got a bunch of injuries, but the Dolphins made the plays when it mattered, and that's all you can ask for. The important plays, once you get into red zone, hold them down. Don't let them score a touchdown, make them kick a field goal, make them go for a 4th and short, and they've done that multiple times. And it worked. You stop them with the important plays. Now, the Dolphins can look back. They know they have a lot of work to do, but they're sitting at 3-0, and you could say that they are 2 plays away from potentially being 1-2, but it doesn't matter because they made the plays that mattered, and they're sitting 3-0, and they have a lot of work to still do, but they got a lot of talent out there.
I'm starting to like you a lot more, Zach. But the only thing that gave me hope about this game is that we did win, but we did not play good. Like, the defense did. The defense did their job. I mean, we had so many turnovers we dropped, but we did not play good, and we won that game. So that gives me hope. If we play good, I think we could beat them again when healthy. and they're not going to be fully healthy this whole year. Micah Hyde's done for the
No
year.
team is going to be.
Yeah, I know, but like I'm just saying, even in December, even if everybody that didn't play that game's back because Micah Hyde's out for the year, they're not going to be fully healthy.
Ooh, so you said you played in December again?
Yeah, we play in Buffalo December
So-
18th.
So they got to deal with the Miami Heat. You guys got to deal with Buffalo Blizzards.
Yes, and we're not, and I'm not, and if we lose that game, I'm not going to make excuses for it.
We'll see. in a few months.
Destruction, dude. It's Miami. Get used to it.
Let's go on to the next one. We've been on this a little long.
Yeah. So next up, we had Detroit lose in Minnesota, and I gotta say, I was watching the game. I'm like, oh, looks like Detroit won. All of a sudden, Minnesota had the lead. Detroit was trying to win. I'm like, what the heck just happened? And I just want to start off to say, because I picked this guy as a breakout player when this guy was off the first 2 years.
Okay.
But Jeff Okuda has been outstanding this season. He has been amazing so far this season. And now the Detroit defense hasn't been the best overall. Actually, the number one offense in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken, at least touchdown-wise. But Detroit, we've said they have a bunch of talent. They're sitting at 1-2, but they look like they are going to be a tough fight every single week. And I really like this Detroit team, even though they did lose. But now back to Minnesota real quick. I need a little bit more from Justin Jefferson, but overall, they played a solid game. Dalvin Cook got banged up, but he should be fine. And I mean, it was a good win for Minnesota overall. They were able to come back, beat Detroit, especially with Swift out, though. That would be big.
Yeah. What I would say on that game, what I take from it is like DeAndre Swift being, banged up, I think really took the opportunity away from them to close the game entirely. Because in their offensive scheme, they're just gonna, pound the rock. Jamal Williams is perfectly fine, don't get me wrong. But Swift's that like energizer, that booster to that Lions team. Like he makes that one big play and like, okay, now we keep the momentum. They didn't quite have that. Jamal Williams did have some tough runs to score, but at the end of the day, their best player was missing towards the end. And I feel like the Vikings, they took advantage of that. They ended up winning the game. Like you said, Jeff Okuda has been amazing. That's a great point, by the way. And Jeff, you need more. You need to do more. You had an explosive week 1. In the last 2 weeks, you've been non-existent. Like, what's going on? You're top 4 picks sometimes in people's fantasy drafts, and you're doing absolutely nothing right now. You talk all this game. You need to back it up.
So I'm going to keep this one short. Lions lost this game. They should have won it. Point blank, period.
Yeah.
As far as Jeff Okuda, I'm not shitting on him. I love Jeff Okuda. I've always wished for the best for him. But as far as this game, I don't think it was all Jeff Okuda locking up Justin Jefferson.
Oh, I'm not saying he was the reason why they won. I'm just talking about the first 3 weeks after the way.
Yeah, but I don't think he was crazy this week. I don't think he was like he allowed 3 catches for 33 yards for Justin Jefferson, his only 3 catches. But I saw like 10 plays where the Lions had 3 people on Justin Jefferson. Like calm down on the Okuda hype. Let him play a few more weeks. He's playing good. I'm not shitting on him, but I don't think it was all him for Jay Jetta. Like they were focused on making sure he didn't get the ball. Make that very clear, and they succeeded at that. But Osborne and Thielen stepped up. So as far as that, the Lions should have won that game. It kind of seems like they're doing the same thing they did last year, competing a lot and then selling at the end. They are better, but yeah, as far as that, they need to hold on to those leads because I looked down at the score. I'm at the Dolphins game. I look up the scoreboard. They're killing them. Look back at the end of the Dolphins game. It's 28-24 final Vikings win. I'm like, okay, that happened. Like, it's just random. Like, they need to hold on to leads. They need to take those leads and hold on to them.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce Young, I think will look good in that uniform next year, potentially, if they can trade up that high. Anyways, next up, we had the Baltimore Ravens beating the New England Patriots, and we did have an injury in this game. Mac Jones suffered an ankle sprain, and I'm seeing mixed stuff on it. I've seen some stuff that says he could be out potentially up to 2 months with this type of ankle injury. I've seen some stuff saying don't count him out for this week. So I have no idea where the actual middle line is with this injury, but I think it is safe to say that we probably won't see Mac Jones at least this week. And we'll see Brian Hoyer eventually, but that's next week. This is this game. And Baltimore Ravens really, they had control for it most of the time. New England was kind of fighting back with jabs here and there. Never made it too big of a lead, but the Ravens look dominant, and they have the current MVP frontrunner right now on their team.
Yep. The Ravens didn't just look dominant. Lamar Jackson looked dominant, and he's just been
That's
dominating for the last 3 weeks in a row. Like he's out here. One thing I want to touch with Lamar Jackson real quick. He's raising that price. That team, the contract he was trying to argue with the Ravens, they're fucked now. They're gonna have to give him 300 mil guaranteed. I promise you that. And if they don't give him 300 mil guaranteed, the team will. He's been balling. He took the gamble on himself, and it's working to his favor for sure. Because now he's gonna get more money. The market's Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray. He's showing he's 10 times better than them, especially right now. And now he's definitely going to ask for 300 mil. So the Ravens are fucked. I don't know what they're going to do, but they can't let him go.
I just want to say real quick with the contract thing. He's been offered the second most of any player besides Mahomes, money-wise. It's just guarantees with this contract. But go ahead.
Yeah, the Ravens don't want to guarantee him good.
That's all that matters with the fucking mobile quarterback is the guarantees.
Yep.
You better give him more than what Deshaun Watson got. I completely agree with you. He will. He's messed. The Ravens are thinking that right now, but they're like, let's see if this could last. It will. He's my favorite to win MVP right now. But yeah, let's just be honest. I don't know how the Patriots were this close in this game. They're not a good football team. I said at the beginning of the year, they're fourth in this division. They will be fourth in this division. The Mac Jones injury, I think he's a little bit. Don't get me wrong, it looked bad, but it was only a high ankle sprain. The guy's a baby, dude. He's out. He's screaming, crying, getting carried off, and then after he's at the press conference, like clapping for Devin McCourty, getting like it's the cringiest shit ever. Yeah, the Patriots are ass, dude. Point blank, period. The Patriots are ass. I said this from the beginning of the year, and they're dog shit.
Yeah, and I just want to say real quick, I was the only one who had Lamar Jackson in my top 3 for MVP. But anyways, let's go ahead and move on. Not too much to say for that last game. We had Cincinnati Bengals get their first win of the season against the Jets. It was a pretty dominant win. Joe Flacco, he had the yards, I believe, but he looked like Joe Flacco again. And we do have Zach Wilson coming back this week. But get back to Cincinnati real quick. Nothing too much to say. I mean, they dominated this game, but nothing crazy performance from anybody specifically. Although T. Higgins had a crazy catch that did not count because apparently there's a new rule this year that I didn't know about. Something to do. I'm not sure how to explain, but I guess if his body was turned the other way, it would have counted. But if his toes are down and then his heel comes down, apparently that's not a touchdown. I think I was reading on. But if his foot had lifted up before the heel hit, I guess it's a new rule, or maybe I just saw that somewhere and it's not true, but I heard that was the explanation for it. It seems like a dumb rule. But what are your guys' thoughts on the game?
That should have been a catch. Overall, the Bengals are, still kind of sloppy. I mean, I want to see more out of Jamar Chase, but besides that the biggest takeaway was that, that play, the 2 feet in, it was clear as day. I don't know why they didn't even challenge it. They were just like, oh, it's incomplete. All right, next play.
What do I want to say about this game? Sauce Gardner after the game, he's like, you guys said Jamar Chase is one of the best in the league. I didn't see that today. Sauce Gardner's a goon. No, don't even come in here and say Stingley's better. He's not.
Sauce still allows touchdowns throughout his career.
I know. And
college and pro.
And as far as the Bengals, I'm kind of scared. We play them tonight. And don't get me wrong, I don't think they played amazingly. And again, it was the Jets and Joe Flacco did look bad, but they got that win under their belt. What happened last year? They got that win under their belt, and they kind of started rolling. So hopefully that doesn't happen tonight. I don't think it's going to be an easy win for Dolphins. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but I think I'm really hoping that didn't start the Bengals' run.
Yeah, and I just want to say, don't quote me on that rule because I believe that's the rule, but I never heard of it before when they were talking about it. But that does seem like a dumb rule for the T against touchdown catch.
It's stupid as shit. You get 2 toes down, you're in. If you get your toes down, it's a touchdown. I don't care what way your feet are pointing. That's so stupid.
But anyways, next game up, we had the best team in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles, play the Washington Commanders. Another dominant win.
Let them play a good team and then call them that.
They're the best team in the NFL right now, in my opinion.
No fucking shot. Play a good team. I want to see them this week against Jacksonville. That's what I want to see.
Jacksonville?
Yeah, that's a good team.
Washington beat Jacksonville.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
But yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts has looked good. I do agree that I do want to see them against some better competition. But I mean, they played the Vikings. Vikings aren't terrible, and they won that game pretty easily. But Jalen Hurts has looked good. Maybe he's having that Josh Allen type jump when they got Diggs with A.J. Brown coming in. Not saying it's the same exact thing, but Hurts has looked a lot better than I thought that he really would ever look. But that's yet again through 3 weeks, and that defense is outstanding. Darius Slay is playing arguably the best football of his career. Obviously, he had some very good years with the Lions, but he's playing at an extremely high level. 3 weeks in, but he's probably played the best of any corner through 3 weeks in the NFL so far.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Eagles are scary, man. If Hurts can keep this up, they are scary.
The Eagles are scary for sure, and I'm not shitting on them. I'm just saying I don't think they're the best team in the NFL. I think they're top 3 for sure, but I want to see them. I want to see them demolish Jacksonville. I don't think Jacksonville's crazy good, but they look good. So if they go out there and demolish Jacksonville Sunday, we'll talk about something. But as far as that, they beat the Lions, they beat the Vikings, and they beat
the Commanders.
Sorry,
some decent teams like the Lions and Vikings are decent, not great, but decent.
I think the Lions are just good at keeping the games close. It's kind of like a Texans thing. Don't get me wrong, they're better than Texans, but I think it's that kind of scenario. And I think the Vikings are we saw it. They're not very good. We thought they were going to be week 1, but we didn't. What we also didn't take into consideration is Green Bay. They usually just suck week 1, and they did. Like last year, they got demolished by the Saints 42-7. Like that didn't make sense. Jameis Winston looked like a Pro Bowler. But as far as this game, one more game out of them, and I'll say that. And as far as the Commanders,
No, yeah, they're bad. And my take on this game too is I believe the Eagles are at least bare minimum the best team in the NFC. It's not even close right now. They've proven that to me, regardless of who they played. Lions are no slouch. That was a tough matchup. It was a week 1 matchup though, so anything could happen. But at the end of the day, they're going to dominate this division. Especially they just wipe the floor with the Commanders, and the Commanders, they're just they're an team, So I mean, if they end up destroying the Jags, I think they'll already establish themselves as the best team. So I agree to that point to some extent. I personally believe they are the best team right now, right after the Bill, or it would be them then the Bills to me, right? But once they blow out the Jags, which I believe they're going to, then they're going to establish themselves as the clear-cut number 1 in the league for a while. So,
yeah, and also, I mean, even if they don't beat the Jags, I don't know. Depending on how the game goes, I don't know how I'd rank it because every team's going to lose some games. There's a reason why there's only been one team that's been undefeated, right? You're going to lose a game here and there. But I will say with Washington, that I don't know if there really was too much hype because he was kind of inconsistent throughout the games. But that Carson Wentz hype died pretty quick this past week. He was sacked 9 times. I mean, he's got weapons out there. They scored 8 points. 2 of them was safety, but they did not look very good. And as a Colts fan, we got their second-round picks. As long as Wentz plays 70% of the games, that's looking better and better week by week. But next up,
you guys are getting some revenge for what the Eagles did to you.
Yes. Next up, before we go there, did you guys hear that the Commanders, before they did the Wentz trade, actually had a trade, kind of the parameters set for a trade for Jimmy Garoppolo before he had shoulder surgery over the offseason. So he was going to end up, I guess, being the QB for them before he had surgery.
Thank God. That's what Commanders are saying right now. Thank you. Thank you. That's what the Commanders are saying right now. Thank you for having an injury. Man is fucking caca shit.
Not the QB they have is too much better, though, but also depends on the price.
Yeah, no, he's not.
Anyways, next up, we had the Carolina Panthers get their first win of the season against the New Orleans Saints. Now, Jameis was a bit banged up throughout the game. I believe Michael Thomas was banged up as well during the game. Kamara was, But overall, I was surprised about this game. Neither of these teams look too impressive, but Carolina did get the first win. I do feel bad for DJ Moore, though. This guy has been non-existent through 2 weeks. What do you guys think about the narrative that Baker Mayfield is the wide receiver 1 killer?
I mean, I guess I can attest to like you can look back at the history from like the Browns to now. I guess you can like have that correlation. I just personally think that like the DJ Moore slump has to be more with him getting open. I don't think it's just all Baker Mayfield's fault. DJ Moore is a pretty good receiver, don't get me wrong, but I feel like there's been multiple times. Like I haven't watched all the games, obviously, the Panthers this year, right? I've watched some of like their first week and their second week, And what I can say is like they just look sloppy overall, honestly. Like Christian McCaffrey too is like he's doing okay. I understand they're trying not to give him that workload anymore, but it just seems like this offense can't get it going at all. Baker Mayfield is playing pretty bad. I don't know how they won this game. I mean, Jameis Winston's playing on a literal broken back right now, and they're still able to like keep it close. Marquise Callaway made a fantastic one-handed catch, which was ridiculous towards the end of the game. It was fantastic. But one thing I will say, with at least for the Saints portion of this game, after talking about the Panthers, it's Chris Olave. I think he could have a chance to like really show what he's meant for, because Michael Thomas is already going through injury problems again. He's missed practice again for it. Jarvis Landry, I think, came back today, but he also had a toe injury or something. It was both of them with like toe injuries, I think, or I don't know.
I know Thomas had toe injury. I'm not sure what
Yeah.
Landry's was.
But I think the game script's perfect to see what Olave's got. Now this team can develop Olave and see what he's meant for, see if they made the right draft pick. But at the end of the day, I think Carolina got lucky to win this game.
Yeah, and I loved Olave coming out. He's my receiver too. I think that's pretty accurate so far because I still like Drake London a lot from what I've seen from him.
He's doing good.
And I mean, DJ Moore, I don't even know if necessarily a problem with him getting open. I mean, he only has 18 targets through 2 weeks, and 9 of those have been catchable balls. You know, like he's not when he is getting thrown the ball, they aren't very accurate. He only has 7 receptions throughout the year. You got to get the ball in his hands because he is a great receiver. He's a true playmaker. You just got to find a way to get the ball in his hands. And then with McCaffrey, he's been getting touches, but he's not getting the receiving work he once was. Last week he had 25 carries. So that's a lot of touches for him, but only 1 reception. You know, so you got to get the ball to him as a receiver because that's one of the things that makes him so great, the ability to be not just one of the best running backs in the league, but one of the best receivers in the league. You know, so you got to find a way to get him the ball as a receiver as well.
My one thing I want to say about this game is Panthers are exactly what we thought they were. They're whatever. And the Saints, I think, were getting distracted by their team name. You see the Saints and you're like, oh, they're probably going to play pretty good this year, probably playoff team. No. We didn't even realize they barely beat the Falcons week 1.
Mm-hmm.
They got blown out by the Buccaneers, who offense has yet to start playing good. And they lost to the fucking Panthers this week in Baker Mayfield. Like, they're a bad team. They're a bottom 10 team right now, in my opinion. And Jameis Winston's injuries is not helping whatever skill he was. I don't think he was good at any point, but that's definitely not helping. And I think the Saints just go downhill. Like, I really don't think they're a good football team.
I think we probably didn't think the fact of the Sean Payton retiring too much. Like, I think we like, yeah, he's a great coach. We like Dennis Allen knows the system. He'll be all right. I think we're kind of seeing a bit of the offense not performing well with Sean Payton not there.
Yeah, they have a defensive-minded head coach now with Jameis Winston, so that sounds like a perfect combination.
Yeah, next up, we did have the big upset. Jacksonville not only beating the Chargers, but absolutely smacking the Chargers, 38-10. So Jacksonville, I mean, I'll say this. This defense, I did not expect their defense to look this good through 3 weeks. Like this, like they're playing so good. Defense corner might get some head coaching calls this past offseason if he keeps this up. They got a pretty good D-line, but I really didn't expect this from the defense. And Trevor Lawrence is playing kind of how we expected him to play. He's still not at the top level yet, but he's playing pretty well. He's a bit of a gunslinger, but he's playing very well so far this year. I think Danny picked him as a breakout player. Not too shocking, but at the same time, he has played well so far. You got receivers like Zay Jones playing very well out there. Christian Kirk. I mean, I'm still going to call him overpaid because you could have gone for a lot cheaper, but he has played very well, and they've put him in the perfect spots out there. James Robinson off the Achilles injury. We said it before. He's looked really good out there coming off that Achilles injury. Like, they just look like a very good football team. Now, they're still young. I expect them to play up and down week to week, but Doug Peterson being in there has, established something. He's established himself already, and they're playing very good. And the Chargers, man, I don't know. I don't really trust the Chargers this year. They have talent on paper, but they're always banked up. Sean Slater after the year. Who else is out for the year for the Chargers? I know Jalen Guyton is, but someone else is also no, or someone else is out for the year. Bosa's out missing a long time.
Slater, he's out for the year.
I already said Slater, but Bosa's going to miss some time. I mean, I really just don't trust them. Like, the coaching is one thing. They got an aggressive head coach. I don't know. I just don't trust them throughout the year.
I'll say on the Chargers, I just feel like that team and the whole AFC West entirely has been a pretty big disappointment so far. All 4 teams have been expected to be like showing that it's no doubt the best division in football. Every game they're blowing out teams. Hasn't been that at all. Chargers are injury bugged, with those 2 key injuries. No Keenan Allen, by the way, in this game either. And yeah, Justin Herbert played, but he was, riddled from his injury. He's got ribs injuries, and he's playing through it because he's just like that. He's that type of guy. But at the end of the day, they did play pretty sloppy, in my opinion. Austin Eckler did okay. He's doing his medium game right now. They're still trying to make sure they don't overwork him. But the Jags are coming. The Jags are coming for that division, especially. They're showing every team out there with this coach that we're a dog. Like, we're gonna fight every game. You're not gonna bully us anymore, regardless if you win or not. You're gonna respect us. And I feel like they're just gonna win that division, in my opinion.
Hey, let me say one thing real quick. Why was Justin Herbert in the game late in the game? You know that man is hurt, and you're down 38-10. Why is your star franchise QB in the game? Makes no sense to me.
I'm not worrying about it. Eckler, I had him in fantasy in every league, so ended up helping me a little bit.
Yeah. And I saw that almost all his production, not all his production, but a huge majority of his production this year just been in the fourth quarters so far.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I think it comes down to this coaching for the Chargers and the injury bug. They do have that injury bug. They always will. They will never get rid of it. They've had it for 10 years. It's just it's unfortunate, especially for all those bandwagon Chargers fans. Because I've never seen so many Chargers fans ever before that season started because they did have the best team on paper. It's disappointing, but I wouldn't say this is an upset. I really wouldn't. As far as you look at the team names, Zach, I'm pretty sure 2 of me and you had the Jaguars. I had the Jaguars in my pick'ems, so.
Did I pick the Jaguars?
I think you did. I
don't think I did.
Well, I did. So it looks like I know what I'm talking about. But I didn't see this as an upset. I'm pretty sure Jaguars.
Actually, I think you said you wanted to pick them last week, and I told you got to either pick them or not. You can't say that it's a surprise. I think that's what happened.
Okay, well, regardless, I had them in my pick'ems. It won me some money, and I wasn't surprised by this at all. I didn't expect the 28-point blowout, but. No. Chargers are getting banged up left and right. What are you going to do about it? You can't do anything about it. The coaching's not completely there, and the Jaguars are a real team. It's weird how they lost to Washington. I will say that. That's very weird, but it also was week 1. You never know with week 1. Anybody could beat anybody. The NFL is a weird place.
Yeah, look, let's see how the Chargers end the season. I wouldn't be shocked any way they go. I wouldn't be shocked if they kind of start to keep going downward slope, or if they bring it back up, or just inconsistent week to week. But you don't win championships through free agency. You win them through trades and draft, and I'll always stick by that.
You're 100% right. You said trades and the draft? Okay.
Yeah, trades and draft.
I'm about to say, because fuck them picks.
Next up, speaking of that, we do have the Rams who played Arizona. Nothing really too much for me to take out of this one. The Rams were a better team. They won. I don't think either team was too impressive throughout the game, although I do think we got maybe a little more clarity about the running back room because Cam Akers did most of the work this past week on that team. And, I mean, Arizona, I don't know. Maybe when they get Hawkins back, I said I don't think they're too talented to score 12 points against a decent defense, but I just got to see more. And hopefully James Conner gets healthy because they got to find a way to get him more involved and healthy because that running back room looks bad right now.
Yeah, the Cardinals aren't very good. I'm going to be completely honest. They won that Raiders game, but let's be honest. What are we seeing out of the Raiders? Jack shit. But the Rams are I hate these types of games because both teams played exactly how we thought they would play, and there's not much to say about it. There's not much shockers in it. The one question I take from this game is, has the Cooper Kupp regression started? I don't think so, but you never know, man. I've never seen that man drop a 16-point fantasy game in a while, so everybody's been waiting for that regression. He's finally had that one. 16 is fine, too. Yeah, I know. 16 is fine, but, that's the only thing I take away from this game is the Cam Akers taking most of the carries like he deserves to, and Cooper Kupp not playing to his level, but they didn't really need him to. The Cardinals just weren't in the game really the whole game. They made it look a little close. But I think one thing I do want to say about the Cardinals is that Marquise Brown and Kyler connection is starting to heat up a little bit.
Yeah, it's
starting to get back to college form.
Starting to get back to that Oklahoma. Who gives a fuck? Kyler's going to be fine when they have all 3 of those guys. Rondale Moore still has not played a snap.
Nope.
Hey, but George, right? He's looked pretty decent so far.
Yeah, I picked him up in fantasy. He's looking pretty good. I'll say for me on this game, I just want to let you guys know that Cooper Kupp has established himself as the best receiver in the league, and I'm going to keep saying it until someone apologizes on the top right of my screen. Justin Jefferson is not better than Cooper Kupp, and we're going to stop disrespecting this man. A bad game to Cooper Kupp is 17 fantasy points in fantasy. That's the extent, that's the level in which we hold him upon. Justin Jefferson has dropped less than 5 points or whatever, just dropped less than 10 points 2 weeks in a row. Devontae Adams is not doing as great as we expected him to be, while Cooper Kupp has been the most consistent and still on pace to do as good as he did last year. That's the biggest thing I got to take away from the Rams right now. Cooper Kupp needs his respect. Guys like Keenan Allen that put him at barely 5th on their list need to apologize to this man as soon as possible because he's making you pay for it. Cardinals, they look ass right now, but they're not fully healthy. I can give them a pass on that because James Conner's looking slumped. He's pretty injured, and D Hop's not there yet. When D Hop's there, if they continue to lose, then you can worry about it. But as of right now, I just think that the Rams are a better team. That's all.
Sorry, I fell asleep there. I kind of fall asleep when there's rap going on. You want to slow down a little bit? Dude, Justin Jefferson has 4 fucking lions on him. You will see that Rams offense is tailored to Cooper Kupp because Cooper Kupp is a beast. There's no doubt about it. Justin Jefferson is better. I don't care.
No.
Hey, I gotta say, Ben Squanix looked pretty decent so far. Lining him up at the fullback position, he's definitely looked a lot better.
Shut the fuck up.
What, has he not been decent so far?
Who are you talking about?
Ben
Number
Skronik?
18, Skronik.
Oh yeah, Skronik, dude, stealing everything. Every time, I'm not gonna lie. Every time Skronik gets the ball, I think it's Cooper Kupp.
Hell yeah.
I think so, just because it's Cup's old number. He's wear 18 before he changed 10.
Yeah, but no.
But
That's not
also,
why.
didn't Ramsey name his top 5 wide receivers in the NFL and put Kupp at 5th?
Yes, it's disrespectful, and they all need
His
to
own
acknowledge
teammate.
that.
Ramsey's.
His own teammate. He had I think it was Adams, Hill, Debo, and OBJ. But
Is Kupp in the lead for Triple Crown right now? Does he have most catches, touchdowns, and yards
No,
right
he
now?
doesn't.
I doubt it.
He's not even top 5.
He's not up there for yards.
He's not top 5 in yards. Dude.
No, yeah, someone's had a shit ton of yards. I know.
There's only 2 Dolphins in the top 3. I put. By the way, Zach, I'll call it out right now before we move to the next game. I put Jalen Waddle at 12 in fantasy, and you laughed at me. Go fuck yourself. I put 2 at 12 in fantasy.
It's 3 weeks.
You laughed at me. I don't care. You laughed at me.
Is 2 that high? Just because I know besides week 2, he hasn't been that great for fantasy.
Oh no, he's about to drop like 10 points tonight. Anyways, let's continue on here.
He's dropping 24, 3 touchdowns.
My dick.
24 passing yards. Okay. Next up, we got Seattle. Seattle played Atlanta, and I think this was Atlanta's first win of the season. And what did Atlanta finally do? They said number 8.
Daryl Patterson.
Oh, Cordell Patterson did good, but number 8 finally got some targets, and he did decent. He did good. Get your playmakers the ball. Get Kyle Pitts the ball. Get Drake London the ball. You get Cordell Patterson the ball, and I don't care about nobody else getting the ball. To be honest with you, get them the ball, and Atlanta's actually been pretty competitive in every game this year so far. I know one of the games, like the Rams game, it was a late comeback, but either way, they've been competitive. Finally got the window, and Seattle. I mean, it's really much to say about Seattle. If I'm being honest, is there much to say?
No, there's not much to say. But what I will say about this is if they get a quarterback in the draft this year, because they probably will end up with a top 3 pick, we're forgetting they have Calvin Ridley next year, bro. They got London, Ridley, Pitts. That's deadly for a quarterback. Like, you give that to Stroud.
Well, I don't know if Ridley will be back. He almost got traded, so I don't know if that was still happening.
If they trade him, they'll get a 2nd-round pick back.
That's what I'm saying. Like, let's not make sure that Ridley's not locked to be back.
They'll get a 2nd-round pick back as long as Ridley doesn't feel like throwing away another $1,300.
Was Ridley nearly traded to the Eagles, nearly traded to the Patriots?
Patriots.
Oh, it might have been both of them. I heard both.
All right. Next up, we had Green Bay win a low-scoring game against Tampa. Now, I think one thing this game does say is both defenses, like we kind of known already, are pretty stacked.
Yeah.
And both these teams, at the moment, their wide receivers are awful. I mean, to be fair with Tampa, their top 1,000 receivers around this game. But, I mean, Green Bay, I think they did have a few out, right? Sammy Watkins, I believe, was out. Christian Watson was out. I don't remember seeing him play.
He was out.
I know Romeo Doubs had a good game this past week, so give him credit. Alan Lazard did come back. He made a couple catches, but they got to find another receiver where they find a way to get Odell, maybe make a trade for maybe Tyler Lockett becomes available. But they got to get another receiver somehow, some way. And Tampa, just stay healthy. I'm not going to be too worried about them. but their offense now looks good in 3
Ooh.
weeks.
No, yeah, I think for this game, I think it's more of a panic for the Packers than it is the Bucks, because the Bucks, you can have the excuse of you had 3 of your starting receivers out. You have Godwin, Evans coming back now, and Julio's coming back now. While the Packers, what hope do you have besides, Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson? There is no Mike Evans coming back. There is no Devontae Adams. There's no other stardom receiver that you can come up and go, okay, we're gonna have him back in 2 to 3 weeks. Bucks can look forward to that with Godwin and Evans. The Packers can't. So it's like, all right, you did win this game, but to what extent can you really look at yourselves in the mirror and go, we're okay, we're a contending team? Absolutely not. There's still a lot of work to be done from the Packers side of things. But the Bucks, once they're fully healthy, we can properly evaluate them as a team overall. But Tom Brady's Tom Brady. You can always expect them to be in the playoffs. That's what we all expect, and we're just going to see from there for that.
I will say this: the Buccaneers are concerning because they will make the playoffs because of their defense. But Brady, I don't care if you say he has no receivers, dude. The man was on the Patriots making Malcolm Mitchell look amazing. Like, I don't want to hear the receiver thing. He's fine with anybody.
38.
It doesn't matter. He's fine with anybody. I think Tom Brady looks a little washed, and I'm kind of sick of America's game of the week being ass every time. Every time it's always a defensive battle, and the shit's so boring. But you can't predict that. I mean, it's 2 GOATs playing against each other. I understand it, but fuck, was that game boring. And my second thing of the game was, I'm gonna make a bold take here. I think Romeo Doubs is the next Packers Devontae Adams.
Could be.
He reminds me a lot of young Devontae when he was like wide receiver 3 with Jordy Nelson and Greg Jennings. It reminds me a lot of that. But he's getting a bigger role than Devontae did early, so it might happen sooner than later for Devontae. Devontae took some time. I think Romeo Doubs could be the next Devontae Adams for the Packers.
Yeah, he looks good. And one thing I want to say is when you're kind of saying with Malcolm Mitchell type stuff, I mean, there's a big difference, right? Because Josh McDaniels, even though he doesn't look great as a head coach, he was the offensive coordinator for that team, one of the best offensive coordinators we've seen over the past decade. And
yeah,
also there is something as well to do with the fact that Bruce Arians, while he's still with the Buccaneers, he's not the head coach anymore. I think he was the play caller, if I'm not mistaken. And now with Byron Leftwich kind of being the play caller, I think there is a bit of a learning curve with that, not to mention with Evans being gone this past game, with Godwin being injured, with Julio, I mean, there is a learning curve there. And just general for any NFL team, offenses usually take a few weeks to kind of get going in any season.
No, I agree with you, but what I'm saying is, and don't bring Josh McDaniels not being there into this equation. I'm sick of hearing that. The guy's got 2 head coaching jobs before, and he sucked at both of them.
There's a big difference between head coach and offensive coordinator, especially when the head coach that
Leftwich is just as good as an offensive coordinator as Josh McDaniels.
Huh?
Leftwich is just as good as an offensive coordinator as McDaniels was.
I disagree.
I don't. Look what he's doing. Look at the Broncos offense. That shit's supposed to be elite. It's terrible.
Because he was the head coach of that team.
What does that matter? He's not play calling?
I don't know if he was the play caller, but I will say that there's a lot more responsibility you have to do with that.
I agree with you on that, but there's no way McDaniels went to the Broncos and said, all right, or Broncos, my bad, fucking Raiders, and is not play calling. There's no way.
And Jalen Waddle's plans to play, but he should be good. Just letting you guys know, he should be good.
They already said that. You're late.
Yeah, Jeremy Fowler just said that. But anyways, next game we had the great Sunday Night Football matchup with the Denver Broncos playing San Francisco 49ers. 2 great defenses, 2 offenses that just haven't been there. But we did have a historic moment, almost repeat, I should say. Jimmy Garoppolo at the 1-yard line, stepping back, too far back, getting to safety. But honestly, that's probably better than what would have happened if he didn't step on the back of it.
Yeah, it was a big 6. Bradley Chubb.
Yeah.
But anyways, Daniel Levansky was on Twitter. He was so happy. He says, "I'm free." It was a great moment. It was a great moment for when it happened.
It was a great moment, but make no mistake, Dan Orlovsky, you are not free. Okay, it is not. Don't get me wrong. Jimmy G's bad, and that was pretty bad, but he didn't do what you did. You were running baseline the whole time. Jared Allen's celebrating, not even chasing you. He's still running for his life.
I agree with that, but the fact that he threw a pick 6 also, that is bad.
Mark Sanchez might be free. Orlovsky is not free, dude. That was bad. I know, but one thing I want to take from this game is you cannot tell me Mike McDaniel not being there does not affect that shit. Jimmy Garoppolo walking off the field in his helmet with the mic on, obviously he has the green light, is saying, what are these fucking play calls? Don't get me wrong, Jimmy G's ass. Give him whatever play call, he's not going to be amazing. But don't tell me it does not affect it because they look bad, dude. They look bad. Like, they look like a bottom 5 team, and it makes me so excited because not only do we have McDaniel, but we also have their first-round pick, and Trent Williams is out for 6 weeks. That sucks because he's a beast, but they look bad.
One thing I'll take away from this game is it was a shit show in itself too. The fucking biggest take of the game was a guy bet $1 million and won $4 million off of it because he did a parlay and he needed the Broncos to win. That's about like the biggest thing that could happen. Broncos look bad. Like I said, the AFC West has just been a big disappointment so far. Even Mahomes losing to the Colts, brought them back down to earth and everything like that. But besides that, I just say it was just a shit game overall. The Niners don't look good. You mentioned their best player Trent Williams is out for at least 6 weeks. That's a detriment to them, and I think they probably won't make playoffs. I think Fan was right on that. I don't think they will. So,
well, you always have to take into account that they have a different QB. We'll say that. But anyways, I mean,
what? Trey Lance looked dog shit when he was playing. I know he only played a game in a monsoon and like a few drives, but dude, like I'm not gonna bullshit as of right now. All my like predictions about like the divisions and the records is looking pretty fucking nice, dude.
Yeah, you were wrong about Amon-Ra.
I'm wrong about some players. That's
AJ
fine.
Brown.
Everybody's wrong about some players, but I'm right about teams, and I'm looking good on my shit right now. I made some takes, and they're all looking great.
So one thing I want to say is Deebo Samuel with a decent QB would have had like 200 yards last game. And why is Mike Boone playing as much as he is when you have Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams in that backfield?
That's what frustrated me too.
I'm fine with a 50-50 split. I would give Javonte Williams a little bit more because he is so good in the open field. But Mike Boone should not be getting any touches or playing time with those two in the backfield. Unless one's injured, then maybe you can play him a little bit. But those two are two great running backs. Getting them off the field for Mike Boone just makes no sense to me.
Dude, I will say this, don't get me wrong. Nathaniel Hackett, that's the reason why. He's dog shit.
He's awful.
He's terrible. I don't care if he's adjusting. No, he's dog shit. And Gordon, I will say this, man. That guy cannot hold a football for his life.
He can do everything else, but he can't hold on to it.
He cannot hold on to that football, dude. It's like that you're getting paid millions of dollars, and your main problem is fumbling, and he knows it, but he still can't stop it. Like, the guy can just not protect the football.
Yeah, and I just had one other thing to say. We can give Hackett a little bit of time, and also they are winning games through all of this, which is kind of like what I said with the Dolphins earlier. Like, there's a lot of stuff you can improve, but at least you're winning. But I do know Nick Sirianni didn't look great the first couple weeks last year, and look how he's looking right now. So we obviously don't get a season, but no promises after that. And the last game we have is Dallas getting a win, up 2-0 under Cooper Rush against the New York Giants. I just wanted to say, because I just thought of it, I saw somebody on Twitter say that Daniel Jones was Josh Allen without an O-line, and someone said the only similarities they had is they both throw to Diggs. So what do you guys think about this game?
Dude, let me just say this right now, dude. I lost fantasy because of that pick, and I'm upset about it, okay? I'm really upset about it. And then I had people taunting me after. I didn't appreciate it. But I will say this. The only question I have of this game, we let's be honest, all of us really didn't believe in the Giants. But what do you guys think of Cooper Rush? I think I know we had this conversation, and the TikTok got a few views of the Joe Flacco, Zach Wilson conversation, and I think Zach was right in that. But that's a question, dude. Cooper Rush is playing better than Dak Prescott was playing. I'm being completely honest.
If Dak Prescott comes back, you have to play him.
You have to because of the money, right? That's exactly what I think. But dude, he's winning games. I don't exactly know how, and it's not the greatest competition, but he's beat the Bengals, who are still a top 15 team in my mind, and then he beat the fucking Giants, who are bad. But he's winning games, point blank, period. What do you do about that? And we're not going to do this whole TikTok thing again, but what do you do about it?
No, I mean,
you played Dak Prescott. He's paid the money, and also you've seen it from him before. I mean, Dak Prescott, he's fine. You're going to get boneheaded stuff from him, but at the same time, that he was the QB for the number one offense in the NFL last year. And I mean, Cooper Rush, the way he's playing, you can buy some time, I guess, for the back injury. Although I think he's somewhat soon to come back. I think he's starting to ramp stuff up a little bit. I don't know if it's going to be the next 2 weeks, but it seems like he's doing well with his recovery. And, you got Michael Gallup coming back soon. You're going to start getting healthy. I want to say Noah Brown's looked pretty good so far.
Yeah.
But
You know who looked pretty good?
What?
Tyler Smith.
He's looked good.
Tyler Smith, yeah, he has.
What a beast, dude.
Yeah, it's another.
They hit on
steal.
that one. They usually
again,
miss
they
on
always-
those reach picks, like Taco Charlton and stuff, but they hit on that one.
Yeah,
Tyler
that was a
Smith,
surprise pick on draft night.
they,
But he's looked solid.
he looks very good.
And I gotta give a little bit of love to Trevon Diggs. Everybody shits on him. He's looked pretty good so far. Not saying he's not gonna have his up and downs, but he's looked pretty good so far. He's been a lot better in actual coverage this year, not just being a ball hawk. Although he did drop a pick last week, we did make up for it. But he's looked a lot better this year.
No, I'll admit he looks very good.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it for last week recaps. Now we're not gonna get too far in depth with our predictions for next week, but
Yeah,
you
let's
got to
speed
give the predictions.
Let's go straight
Let's
through it.
speed
Just
it.
pick a team, move it on.
Yep, we got Miami playing in Cincinnati. I got Cincinnati winning this game. I think Miami's going to be on a little bit of a high, and I think Cincinnati will kind of take advantage of that.
I feel on that. I hate on the pick. It's a very 50-50 game in my opinion. It all depends on if they keep that run going. But I have Miami Dolphins winning this game.
I have the Dolphins as well. Not being biased, I just think that we're gonna win. The Bengals has just been bad and have been proving me wrong so far. So
Minnesota playing in London against the Saints. What you got?
I got the Vikings.
I have the
think
Vikings as
win.
well.
I'm considering London a primetime game, so I got the Saints. We got Browns at Falcons.
I got Browns.
I have the Browns as well. I have Nick Chubb going crazy, but no touchdown.
I have Nick Chubb going crazy with 3 touchdowns.
I don't care what Chubb does, but I got the Falcons winning this one. I think Falcons ball.
I don't hate on that. I had the Falcons earlier, but I switched it today.
Washington Commanders at Dallas.
Dallas.
I have Washington.
I got Dallas as well. Cooper Rush 3-0.
Dallas.
Don't count.
I have Carson Wentz throwing for 5 touchdowns this game.
And 5 picks.
Maybe.
We got Seattle at Detroit.
Detroit.
I got Detroit also.
I have Detroit.
Clean sweep right there. We got Tennessee traveling to Indianapolis, division game.
I got the Colts at home.
I got the Colts as well. Best run defense in the NFL going up against Derrick Henry. Don't see the offense doing too much.
This one's tough for me because the Colts usually just suck against them, but I'm going with the Colts as well.
All right. We got Chicago at New York against the Giants.
The Giants. I got to win that game.
I have the Giants as well.
I have the Giants. I don't like that we all swept this one. It's kind of
I don't
weird
either.
that neither of those teams are going to be 3-1, one of those teams, but Giants. We got Jacksonville traveling to Philadelphia. I think Van might have said who he's picking this game.
Philadelphia.
Oh no! I didn't say who I'm picking. I said it won't be a blowout. I have Philadelphia.
I have Philadelphia winning by 2 touchdowns.
No,
I got Philadelphia in a close one. I think it'll be a low scoring game.
I have a Philadelphia close win.
I'll throw out a score 17-14, low scoring.
No fucking way.
28
No
14.
fucking way. I have 28-24 Eagle.
28-14 Eagles.
All right, next up we got the Jets playing in Pittsburgh. Zach Wilson looks like he might be making his return.
He
got
is, but
Pittsburgh.
that's a shit show, dude. Anybody can win that.
I got Pittsburgh.
I have Pittsburgh as well, but I would not be surprised at all if the Jets won that shit.
Zach Wilson's season is upon us. Elijah Moore's finally going to play good. Jets. Buffalo at Baltimore. This could be maybe the best game this week.
It is.
Buffalo. I'm taking Buffalo. They have one guy. They have Josh Allen. That's all.
Baltimore in a shootout.
Ooh.
Maybe the top two players for MVP this year.
Yep.
I'm going with my MVP pick from before the season. Buffalo.
All right.
All right. Chargers at Houston.
I'm taking the Chargers. I think Houston's just too bad, no matter how
Dude,
bad the Chargers play.
I got the upset.
I don't hate on it. They killed them last year.
Yeah.
Like it might be a matchup thing, but I feel like they lost that game last year getting their ass kicked by the Texans. But they kind of got that game already out of the way of the Jaguars. So I'm going the Chargers.
I mean, I just said I got Houston. It's at home this time. Not that if it was in LA, it'd be really an away game for them, anyways. But I got Houston. I just feel the upset. I just feel it. I don't know.
No, I can feel that too. They did it last year. They blew them out.
Yeah, exactly. We got Arizona traveling to Carolina.
I got Arizona winning that game.
I have Carolina. The reason why is I'm not thinking Carolina's a good team, but they played last year, and not only did they just beat them, they looked like they knew what everything that the Cardinals were doing. It kind of just seems like Matt Rule has Cliff Kingsbury's number. So I'm going to stick. Usually when those happen, Jaguars, Colts, for an example, I'm going with the Panthers to win this game.
I feel like Carolina matches up very well against Arizona. I still got Arizona win this game.
Okay.
We got New England traveling to Green Bay, possibly Brian Hoyer led.
It will be Brian Hoyer led.
I got the Packers winning that all day. They're at home.
I think this might be a sweep.
Packers.
Yep. Packers. We got Denver traveling to Vegas, AFC West showdown.
I got Vegas winning it.
I have
First
Vegas. I have Vegas as well.
I got Vegas going 0-4. Got the Broncos winning. this
Wow.
Wow.
Broncos are shit. But we'll see, man. They're both shit.
Next up, we got Sunday Night Football game. Maybe it'll be a good one. Hopefully, it's a fully healthy matchup of Kansas City traveling to Tampa Bay. The game is going to be in Tampa Bay. There were some questions if it would be maybe in Minnesota, I think they're thinking, because of the hurricane. But it's in Tampa.
I got the Bucks winning the game. They're at home. I think they're getting their players back. Mike Evans is back now. Chris Godwin's going to play. Maybe Julio Jones. I got the Bucks.
As long as Mahomes and Bieniemy does not get to any arguments, I got Kansas City winning this one in Tampa.
I have I'm not gonna lie. I had Chiefs this whole time, but I'm going Buccaneers. I agree with what Danny said. There's a whole storyline behind it. The whole storm. Everybody coming around to watch that game. I'm going with the Buccaneers. Brady hopefully has his comeback game.
Yeah, the Buccaneers injuries at receiver have been too much for me. And then
They're all back.
Monday night, it's not all confirmed. Godwin, I think, won't be playing this week. I'm not 100% sure on that, but wait and see on that. But we do have Monday Night Football. The Rams traveling to San Francisco. This is usually always a good game.
Not this week.
I got San Francisco winning the game. Yeah, I think San Francisco wins. They're at home. It's a division game. Anything can happen, and I feel like San Fran wins the game.
You're right. Anything could happen, but I'm riding that high. Trent Williams out. Aaron Donald's going to get blocked by air. Give me the Rams.
I have the Rams winning this one as well.
Okay.
And doesn't that shit sound sweet, though, dude? 49ers 1-3.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that pick might be top 10, dude.
Yeah.
It might be.
Too bad you guys don't have your other pick. But that will do it for this podcast. I hope you guys did enjoy. Like I said at the beginning of the show, you guys are on YouTube. Make sure you guys go ahead, subscribe, and leave a like. If you guys are listening to it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure you guys go ahead and leave a 5-star rating and go ahead and follow the podcast. And that, we'll catch you guys later.
Hold up, one more thing. Zach, what happened to your guys' first-round pick last year?
Ooh.
We used it for a play, and we flipped him for a second and a third. So
Tough.
took it
Tough.
out.
See ya.
Big fat. Oh, for y'all.
See ya.